Oh, and it's episode 7, which is like my
It's
number.
episode 7. I love
Yeah,
7. Oh
seven's-
my
we're gonna-
gosh, Ronaldo.
I'm about to say, oh, nah, we're going to start with that.
Oh god.
Actually, fuck it, we already started. This is
we already started.
the natural start of the podcast. So thank you, everybody, for joining. Welcome to episode 7 of Vino Conversations. Today, I am joined by...
Amirah Nayo.
Yeah, so before we go into anything, I got to hear why you like the number 7, because I have mad reasons.
Okay, so number 7 is just a great number, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I think it started with Ronaldo.
The best player of all time.
Exactly.
Just scored his 900th goal yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, that's a goal. And I'm a Real Madrid fan, so I'm biased, but...
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yeah, me too, but only
Facts.
because of him.
Really?
Yeah.
I'll take it. Or, whatever the reason
Yeah.
is, for sure.
I honestly stopped watching them
Footy?
after he... No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, after he left.
Where, do you have a team now?
Manchester United has always been my team.
Okay. Also
Yeah,
Ronaldo-
no,
also
I know.
Ronaldo, I
It's
guess,
kind of like
yeah.
a bad time to say that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For sure. So the reason I like the number 7 is I was born, I guess I don't take this data, on February 7th of 1997.
Oh wow.
Okay. And I have 7 letters in my first, middle, and last name. And G is the 7th letter of the alphabet. And all my first, middle, and last names start with the letter G.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy as fuck.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's
facts.
a better reason.
Yeah. And then obviously I use that for
Ronaldo.
soccer. And then
Yeah.
just even watching the sport, I gravitated to anyone number 7, which is also Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He was 17 before 7. So yeah, that's what it is.
Wow.
But as always, you know what I'm saying, we start with our cheers. But we have a very special wine today. We have a non-alcoholic wine because you are doing the 75 hard.
75
If you want
hard.
to explain that real quick to the
Yeah,
audience.
so I'm doing 75 hard.
Mhm.
You gotta drink a gallon of water every day. No alcohol. You gotta stick to a diet. So I'm doing like no bread, no pasta,
Okay, gluten-free
no
pretty much?
rice. Yeah,
Or just
I
low
guess.
carb?
Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. And I'm vegan, so that kind of like. that
Oh,
stuff
you're
comes with
vegan?
it, yeah.
Oh, we gotta talk about that too. Okay.
Yeah, so I've just been eating like a lot of quinoa, veggies,
Yeah.
fruit in the morning, like trying to keep it as healthy as possible. I do
Mhm.
have to work out twice a day,
Yeah.
which is like, it's a tough one, just timing purposes. You
Yeah.
know? But I feel like the toughest for me so far has been the gallon of water. For
That's
some
a
reason,
lot
like
of water, yeah.
it is. I mean, you said you drink a gallon of water every day, but
Yeah, I try. So I have like a 1-liter Gymshark bottle.
yeah,
And I just drink it, refill it, drink it, refill it. If I go to the gym, I try to drink at least 1 fill of it.
yeah,
So I don't like measure it to be a gallon, but it's around a gallon.
that's really
so-
good. Yeah, I get to like 8 o'clock and then I try to like finish it, and I'm like really
Yeah.
bloated because
No, it's actually like too much water sometimes. It's hard to pace
is.
it correctly.
It's hard, yeah.
You know what I mean? And then if you're out and about in public, the problem is you have to use the restroom so much.
Mhm.
In New York, it's not easy. There's not just like public restrooms sitting
There's
around.
not.
A lot of places like now you have to buy something. Even some cafes, you can buy it. They don't have a public bathroom.
Yeah,
So I think that's one of the harder challenges of it too.
it is. So
Word.
I've been trying to stay home. Like,
Yeah.
This is my first time like
Out
outside
and
the
about.
house.
Yeah. For sure. When did you start it?
I started this week. the
Okay,
beginning of
so you
this
just
week.
started.
So I just
Okay.
started. Like it's the beginning. So it's kind of like fun. It's like
Yeah.
a challenge, but I just know like 2 weeks in I'm gonna be like, I'm so tired.
Nah, definitely. 75 is 2.5 months.
Yeah, so I'll be done November 17th.
Okay, pre-Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Okay, before the holiday
which is
season.
smart, which is why I was like, let
Yeah.
me start now.
Facts.
Yeah. But I had
And
to give
then-
myself a little bit of time to like prepare.
Word. No, absolutely. And then the 2 workouts a day, are you doing like lifting and cardio? And what constitutes a workout? Is 20 minutes of Pilates considered a workout?
Okay, yeah.
How strict are you like on that?
So with the 2 workouts a day, it has to be at least 45 minutes.
Wow,
And-
that's serious.
Yeah, and one of them has to be outside.
Wow.
Yeah, which is like the outside part has been easy for me because
Okay.
I have like a little balcony porch area that's connected to
Okay.
my room, so I literally just walk out. And,
Okay,
like,
that's
I have
outside.
my-
Yeah, it's outside.
yeah, and it's
Fresh
outside,
air.
and it's
Yeah.
very much outside. The sun is on you, so
Cool.
like I feel like all of that constitutes outside.
Mhm.
And then in terms of what's considered a workout,
Yeah.
on the website it says stretching is not, and
Fair.
like whatever your physical labor is, like he said, like if you're a construction
I was just
worker,
about to
like
say,
you know
yeah.
that doesn't count, but
Mhm.
yoga counts,
Okay.
walking counts.
I was gonna say, can you
That's
45-minute walk? Yeah.
Yeah, obviously not just like, oh, I'm walking and
Yeah.
it's slow, but like, you know, a good paced
Incline
walk.
maybe on the treadmill.
Yeah, he's like, as long as you're like sweating.
Mhm.
So I did yoga today because after like this week of having like running and lower body and upper body and like core, I was like, okay, I need like a break because there's no way I'm
Yeah.
going to work out every day like this.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense too, because it's like you aren't supposed to lift every day.
No, yeah.
So it's good that they can kind of mix
You're
it in.
not.
Word.
And I don't think I'm gonna be doing any lifting, to be honest. Like I
Okay.
think I'm gonna try to like I'm gonna try my best to stay out of the gym.
Oh,
I also
really? Very
joined Solid Core
interesting.
recently.
Okay, a
So I think
cult.
I'm
That's
gonna like
nice. Yeah.
so I think I'm gonna renew my membership.
Okay,
And
okay.
then I heard it was a cult. I was
Yeah, it
like,
definitely is. I
so
mean,
I
but
was
it's
like,
okay. Embrace it. You know what
I
I'm
only
saying? Fuck it. We
I only
here.
did the 2 week, and then I was
Word.
like, and then I heard all this cult stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, I'm kind of scared now.
I
So I just
mean,
kind of like,
yeah. You work for HBO. Lots of cult documentaries there. So, you know,
okay,
maybe
yeah,
a little
true.
pipeline. You could be like undercover doing the
Yeah,
research. You could
true.
break the
Just make
story
my
sort of
own
thing.
show, yeah.
For sure. But yeah, let's get into this French Bloom organic French bubbly 0% alcohol wine. So I'm gonna pop this. I will say it was not standing straight up when I carried it. So there's a little bit of
Ooh.
a live risk, but let's see what happens.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go very slow.
Okay.
Yeah. Worst case? Nah, fuck it, we here. Weirder things
Now you're
happen.
bringing it to me.
Nah. That's just to put it in the middle, because you know what I'm saying? The new
Okay,
pins. I want to get the
okay.
new pin. Actually, you know what? Let's go this way. Alrighty. Right on all the chords. Word.
It's fine.
The engineer says it's fine. It's fine.
Woo!
And we're straight. We good?
Oh,
good.
yeah, we're good.
Fire. Okay, so let's pour this up. You know, it's always risky popping champagne. You feel me? I'm gonna just like do half, because it's like not like you're gonna get lit. So
Yeah,
If this was an
exactly.
actual bottle, you know, say we might be wilding, but
This is my first like kind of drink.
this is. But
You know, like
this is a big industry now. It's non-alcoholic
I know.
alcohol replacements. You have 0% alcohol wine. You have 0% alcohol beer. Get this to you
Thank
here.
you.
Mocktails are obviously big,
Mhm.
which I don't really.
I love a mocktail
Really?
though. I do.
I'd rather just have like a nice fresh pressed juice. You know what I'm
No.
saying?
So I've been
You like the
places where
feeling?
the fresh juice just doesn't hit. It's like watery.
Really? Have you
I
been to
do
Last Lap?
like-
They have it.
No.
Okay.
No, yeah, I have.
The juice is
but
good, it's
I
decent.
would drink alcohol. When I
Yeah,
go to
no,
Last
facts.
Lap.
No, facts. I'd like a sip of the juice, but yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I love mocktails because I think the places that use ginger beer,
True.
they really got it. 'Cause
Okay.
I love a ginger beer.
Facts. Like
so,
a virgin mule sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like those. So.
Got you. All right, well, cheers. This is my
Cheers.
first non-alcoholic bubbly wine, at least. Let's have a sip of it. Okay.
Okay, so like at first, it tastes like real wine.
Yeah,
at
honestly.
first. And then when I took the sip, it was like
Yeah, I feel like the aftertaste.
Yeah, the aftertaste
gives something that's not wine.
it gives juice.
But it's like there though as a replacement too.
It is.
Especially like as a light rosé bubbly.
Yeah.
I feel like it does the job.
It really does. I'm actually like surprised with it.
You know what
I
I'm
didn't know
saying?
what it was gonna taste.
Yeah, a little bit of like fruit in it, like light
Yeah.
fruit, like peachy kind of vibes.
Peachy.
Now,
I do.
Yeah,
peachy.
facts. So I have had a non-alcoholic red wine. That was bad.
What?
Yeah, because I feel like red wine is like the wine sort of vibe, and I don't know how you can replicate that. And it just
I
tastes
know.
like a old sour red wine that's been open. Like, you know when they put the cap on it?
Yeah.
And it's been there for like 2
Oh,
weeks. That's what it
gosh,
kind of,
yeah.
so non-alcoholic lighter wines, I think could be a thing, but the red wines, they got to figure that out.
Yeah.
So fire. But no, thank you, for pulling up. Really appreciate you coming through. This has been in the works since Vino Vriday Volume 2. When I first talked to you about it, that was like, what, back in February?
Yeah.
So glad we actually making it happen. But yeah, so like just say a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into, your background and everything. So
Yeah, so my name is Amirah Nayo. I'm a content creator, entrepreneur, and video editor / producer at HBO.
big time.
Yes. Yeah, and I guess just some fun facts. I played soccer. Family loves it, so I've just been involved in soccer for so long.
Facts, same here.
And I love music.
Oh, we're gonna talk music for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's take it all the way back. So talk a little bit about your background, where you're from, what it was kind of like growing up, and if any of that kind of spurred your entrepreneurial mindset and kind of getting you into the field you're in now.
Yeah, so I'm from Long Island, New York.
Mhm.
Was born and raised there. I have family. My family's from Jamaica.
Okay.
So I have family in England as well. My mom was born in England. So I feel like just being Caribbean, growing up Caribbean is just a whole experience in of itself. Moved to Brooklyn and then moved to Queens and then moved to the Bronx. So I've just been all over, but like
Okay.
Long Island was like my base for throughout high school
Okay.
and college. And I feel like just growing up, I've just been really creative, like as a musician or as like a writer. So I feel like definitely with the music part led into like video editing. I didn't know.
Really?
I
You was doing like YouTube covers and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, but like not on YouTube. Like I didn't.
Okay, yeah, you didn't post it.
I didn't post
Yeah.
them. I didn't post them, but I played the violin and the guitar and I sang. So all throughout elementary school, middle school, and high school. So
Tough.
and then I stopped after like college started.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I feel like all of the things that I've done growing up led me to being a video editor, but without me knowing it. Like
Okay.
when I started my internship back in 2020, I had no idea what it was going to be. I just knew that it was like a marketing internship at HBO.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was going to have to do, but then they were like, "Oh yeah, we're going to have you edit." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Word.
But editing is like so much sound, and I was like, if I didn't have a music background, I don't know how I would do this job
Yeah.
because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't go to school for it.
Word.
I went to school for just business management.
Okay.
And then I found my way into marketing.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Back to the music though. So you said you played violin, guitar,
Yeah.
and you sang as well?
Yeah.
Okay. Fire. What kind of music were you doing in terms of like those instruments and the singing?
Honestly, whatever the school gave us for the
Okay.
violin and the
Got you.
singing. I guess like R&B, some R&B covers. Like
Yeah.
I loved her.
Fire.
Yeah, I loved her.
Same.
Yeah. And then guitar was just like anything. Like any song that I heard that I liked, I was like, okay, let me try to see if I could cover it.
Yeah.
That was just that. And then
For
I was
sure.
making my own stuff.
That's fire.
Yeah.
I actually played violin a little bit too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, like 2nd and 3rd grade.
Mhm.
I didn't love it. Then I had it. My parents put me into it back again in like 7th grade.
Mhm.
And I was actually very naturally gifted at it, but I just did not enjoy it. Not that I didn't
Yeah.
even like the sound of it or music that has string instruments.
Yeah.
But I just didn't enjoy playing a violin, going to
Yeah.
the lessons. But I recently started thinking about it like this week, like if my early music learning of an instrument is the reason I listen to even an R&B music rap
Mhm.
album and kind of break down the beat, the lyrics,
Yeah.
and just know like the rhythms the way I do. I wonder if it probably is
I
that.
mean,
I never thought about it
probably.
literally until this week. I was
Probably,
like, I wonder if playing the
honestly.
violin helped me with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
probably.
sure. But my mom, she was like big time with the violin, and that's how she got me
Oh,
into it.
really? That is so
Yeah,
cool.
she was first chair at like the
Ooh.
Cali Youth Philharmonic, one of those
Oh,
things.
excuse me.
Nah, it was wild. I mean, I wasn't there obviously, but yeah, as a teenager, she was like traveling Europe. They did a European tour.
Wow, that is
They
so
had a show in
impressive.
Peru or something. So she has like a violin case with like the country stickers of everywhere she went.
Wow.
And so she was like super big time in the violin and then got me into it. I didn't love playing it,
yeah.
but I did play, like a tuba.
Yeah.
There's a euphonium, which is like a smaller version. So I
Okay.
played that until middle school.
Mhm.
I was good at it, but I was like, I'm not doing this in high school, bro.
Yeah.
I just want to play soccer and shit. But yeah, so I relate to like the youth music
Yeah.
background sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk more about getting the job at HBO and then a little bit about like what entails your job that you have now.
Yeah.
And the title as well so people can know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of a long story, kind of just an interesting
We got
background.
time. We on a podcast.
Okay, cool. So, I started looking for internships summer of 2020.
Okay.
And, my godmother, I reached out to her. We were just talking, or maybe she called me. I don't remember. And she's a producer.
Okay.
And she's produced like documentaries and nominated for Emmys. So she's just been in that world. But at the time, I didn't know that I would be in that same world. So I was just like catching her up. And I was like, oh, yeah, like I've just been applying to internships at Warner Media, it was called at the time.
Okay.
Now it's Warner Bros. Discovery, but
Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh, really? I'm working with them right now.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm putting on a documentary called Between the World and Me, and I'm working with them."
Is that with Ta-Nehisi Coates?
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how you mentioned that. I was like, is that the book I
Yeah.
read? That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite books. We'll talk about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a really good book.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can get into that.
Yeah.
But so she was like, "Yeah, I'm working with them. Send over your resume."
Mm.
And I was like, "Okay." And my godmother is so like, she's just a boss. Like she's
Yeah.
a boss lady every room that she steps into. So I guess like she was working with HBO to put on the documentary.
Okay.
So I sent her my resume and she was like, "I'll see what I can do."
Mm-hmm.
And then like maybe a couple days later, a couple weeks later, she was like, "Okay, I got you an interview. Like it's up to you now." And I was like, "Huh?"
Fire.
Mind you, like
Yeah.
I didn't know like what, like, you're applying to things, but the team that she works for doesn't necessarily mean that like that's where I
Mhm.
applied. So it wasn't like I applied and then they got my resume and saw
Yeah.
and liked me. It wasn't anything like that. It literally was just who I knew.
Yeah.
So they actually told, which I didn't know until years later.
Yeah.
Until like last year actually.
Wow.
They told her, "Oh yeah, we'll look at her for like next summer." And
Yeah.
she was like, "No, look at it now."
Fire.
So that fall, I started an internship with them.
Okay.
And that was from October to December.
Okay.
And I was enrolled at Howard at the time.
Okay. Big HU.
Yeah. So
What
Oh
year?
gosh.
You was a sophomore?
So what was I at the time? Junior.
Junior.
That
Okay,
was my
got
junior
you.
year.
Got you.
So that was 2020. I
Okay,
graduated high school 2018. Yeah. So 2020, I was
got
a
you.
junior. And then I was like, you have to be enrolled in college, obviously, to do any
Yeah,
internships.
yeah.
But I didn't realize that they wanted me to work there so quick. Like, I guess I did a great job.
Yeah.
And they're like, how soon can we get you? Like, when do you graduate? And I was
Yeah.
I'm a junior, whatever, whatever. And then they were like, okay, like, we're going to hit you up, like, when you graduate. And I was like, okay.
Mhm.
So then I got a call, like, January, like, late January,
Mhm.
after the internship finished. And I always made sure to, like, keep in touch.
Mhm.
And they were like, we have a job opportunity for you.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, but I'm in school. So then,
Yeah.
like, I sat and I weighed my pros and my cons. And he was like, I can't give you any promises. I can't make any promises right now. But if you want the job, like, it's yours. So then I was like weighing my pros and cons. I was like, oh, stay in school, like, start with HBO. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, because at the time I only had my associates.
Okay. Yeah.
So I went to Nassau Community College first,
Okay,
and
local
then
to Long Island,
transferred.
right?
Yeah, and then I transferred to Howard, and then I just decided to take the job because at the
Wow.
time is also COVID.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I was like,
facts.
I
Which
wanted to go
made
to
streaming
Howard.
booming.
Yeah, I was like, I wanted to go to Howard for, like, the experience and, like,
Yeah.
meeting people and networking and, like, being there, not being behind a computer screen. So I
Mhm.
was like, pay, and they didn't, like, adjust the tuition or anything. So I was like, do I go into debt to sit behind a screen, or do I make money? And it was kind of like
Yeah,
an
facts.
easy decision. Like, looking back at it now, it was an
Yeah.
easy decision, but, like, at the time, I was like, I don't know what to do, because I was 19,
Mhm.
and I feel like when you're in college at that age, you're still like a baby, but then when you're
Facts.
out in the real world, they just look at you as an adult. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah.
so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take the jump, and I started that February. So started
February
the job in,
2021?
yeah, February
Okay.
2021.
Got
Yeah,
you.
and here we are.
That's fire. I think part of the kind of decision making process there too is we're kind of all taught, and it's starting to change now, but like you're supposed to get the 4-year degree. You know what I mean? You're
Yeah,
supposed to go through the education
yeah,
process. But financially, it doesn't really make the most sense
it really
anymore
doesn't.
with the amount of loans that people are taking out. And then some people are taking out, let's say, 100K in loans
Mhm.
for a degree that they don't care about,
Yeah,
that doesn't have job opportunity, that they
right.
also didn't do well in because they didn't take school seriously. So now you graduate with the debt, a degree that doesn't matter, bad grades, and a bad resume for what? And then you
Yeah,
got to restart. And
yeah.
now I guess crazy. So now it makes sense. I think you obviously made the right decision. So
Yeah, it feels like I did, because I was like, maybe if I finished, like, they
Mhm.
still would have been interested in me, but you got to just take your opportunity.
Yeah,
You
for
never know.
sure.
They would have found somebody else and was like,
Hmm. You got to make the jump.
yeah. So I'm just grateful for that, because, like, you're not supposed to, like,
Yeah.
my manager who hired me, he kind of, like, took a risk in a way, because I didn't have my bachelor's, and, like, you kind of have to have
Hmm.
your bachelor's in order to be hired, in order to be promoted. So, like, I've been
Hmm.
promoted, like, maybe like 3 times since then.
Big time.
And
Folks are talking about every year. Stop playing. What?
right. So, and I never, like, at that point, and it's kind of the opposite of what they teach you,
Yeah.
but at that point, it's like nobody's looking at, like, what school you went to. Nobody's looking at,
Yeah.
like,
Who cares,
what
bro?
grades you got. Nobody's
Yeah.
looking at how long you were in school. Once you're already in, I feel
Hmm.
like getting in is the hard part.
Yeah.
And then
Facts.
once you're in, it's just kind of like,
100%.
yeah. I don't even think people, because ended up changing, I ended up changing jobs, but still within HBO. So I'm
Hmm.
just in a different department.
Okay.
Still related. They're still related. Still a video editor. But now I'm more focused on social media,
Okay.
which I thought was a big switch for me, because before I was doing, like, recaps, episodics, and I guess this goes into
Okay.
your next question
Yeah.
of,
So
like,
like,
what
what
the
is?
job
Yeah.
entails.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For sure.
So before, when I started in 2021,
Hmm.
2021 through November 2023, I was doing
Okay. About 2 years. Yeah.
recaps. Yeah. So recaps, episodics, which are, like, the next on videos, like when you turn on a show and it's like,
Yeah. Next
yeah,
episode. Yeah.
yeah, the next episode is gonna have this, and
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
like a little recap of what the next episode is gonna be.
Yeah.
Trailers. I didn't do any teasers, but that department also does, like, teasers,
Okay.
things like that. And then now, the job that I started recently, just in January actually,
Okay.
they do, like, all social media stuff. So,
Okay.
like, everything on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube,
Hmm.
that's all the stuff that they're editing. And I thought that was an important switch for me, because I feel like that's obviously where the world is and where it's heading more towards is
Hmm.
social media. So I was like, might as well and I love it. Like I
For
love
sure.
it. Yeah. Been
That's
getting
fire.
to do like red carpet events and yeah, like doing interviews and not being on camera. Like our
Yeah.
interviews are not set up that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, interviews on the red carpet and like BTS shoots. I'm actually
Mhm.
going to Cali on Sunday in
Okay.
2 days. Yeah,
Fire.
for the shoot for the Penguin.
Yes, that's the villain in Batman, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he has his own show now,
Fire.
and
I gotta
I'm
tap in.
almost done watching it. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's not out yet.
Yeah,
I
definitely
forgot when it
exclusive.
comes out,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, maybe by the time this video comes out,
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's so good. Like it's really, really, really good. And
Fire.
it's Colin Farrell, and he's an
unbelievable actor.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. And the
His
way that
resume, like his filmography is crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
But he's like the way that they transformed him to look like the Penguin. It's just insane.
Yeah, I didn't know it was Colin Farrell until like they put the name,
Me
in which maybe you
either.
edited in. But like, yeah, like I was like Colin Farrell. I
Me
thought this was
either.
some other. Like I had no. It looks like Danny DeVito. Like
I had
You know
no
what I'm saying?
idea. He's really, really good.
Word.
Yeah.
That's fire. That's fire. So what would be like I guess some key differences. Well, actually, even before that, when you were doing the episodic recaps, trailers,
Mhm.
things of that nature, what were some of the highlight shows, movies, etc. that you'd want to talk about that you've been part of your experience? Because you had some big names that you sent me, so definitely speak about that.
Okay, so the very first thing that I worked on was Between the World and Me.
Yeah.
And that was when I was an intern actually.
Wow.
So when I was an intern, I was more of like writer producer than video
Mhm.
editor. So I worked with a video editor to produce a 30-second clip of that basically just marketed the show, and it was a TV spot, so it came on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just so excited. Like
Mhm.
I never saw my work on TV before, and
Yeah.
they don't tell you like when. We don't know the programming. They don't tell you what time it is. They just tell you
Yeah.
the channel. So I was literally like sitting there doing my work as an intern, waiting. And I heard like the first 2 words, and I was like, oh my gosh.
That's
And
crazy.
it was just, it was a great experience. And then through that, I ended up getting the Clio Entertainment Award for that piece, like in
Congrats. Come on,
2021.
clap it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fire.
Yeah. So at the time, I had no idea what a Clio was.
Yeah.
Like,
Put me on because I don't know about it either. Yeah.
It's basically like the Emmys,
Okay.
but for marketing,
Fire.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, of
So,
course.
yeah, that's the easiest way that I can put it. But yeah, I had no idea. So like my manager at the time, he was like, or my ex-manager, he was like,
Yeah.
he was like, that's like a big deal. People work their whole careers for like something like that. And I was like, I'm not
Your
gonna
first
lie, I have
one?
no idea. I was like,
Crazy.
I have no idea.
As Grammy on the debut album. Like,
Yeah,
what?
right? No,
Yeah.
honestly.
Fire.
But it was definitely like I was so proud of myself, and I think that was
course.
also another reason why they were like, we want you back. And
For
I
sure.
feel like definitely making a great impression helped
Mhm.
me to get the job and helped other people know about me within the company.
Mhm.
And then after Between the World and Me, it was like a Black lady sketch show I was doing.
I watched that. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
funny.
that show. It's
Yeah.
so funny. And then more recently, Industry, which is kind of like a cross between Succession and Euphoria.
I was just about to say.
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
seen it, but it looks like Young Succession. That's the vibe I got. Yeah,
it
yeah.
is, and it's so good.
I need to watch
so
it.
good, and
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just like as a marketer, like you obviously you have to push like every show that you get, whether it's good or bad. Like
Right.
sometimes we get some stuff where we're just like, this
Yeah.
is not good, but you just got to do your job. This show I really believe in,
Fire.
and you know it's the 3rd season, so I'm just hoping that it does really, really well and we can get a
Mhm.
4th one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
I feel like you
need to
definitely
tap
should
in.
watch it.
Yeah, I
It's
need
like
to tap in.
it's like the finance world, but
Yeah.
with like sex and drugs and
That's the real
Yeah,
finance world.
yeah,
And
it is.
HBO gonna always give you the truth.
Yeah,
HBO,
HBO's
that's why we fuck with y'all. Y'all
they're
give
not
the
gonna
real
censor
shit.
it.
No.
They're not.
Word.
I love that show so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Anything else within those first few years within that role that you want to highlight in terms of shows that you worked on?
Yeah, so okay. More shows. I think what else did I do? Movies. I did Dune 2.
Fire. I
Yeah,
need to watch
it's
it.
cool.
Part 2, right?
Yeah,
This
part
one?
2.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
I liked it way better than the
First
first one. The
one?
first one was like a little mid.
Yeah, not enough happened.
Yeah,
I
think
was
that's what
like,
it was. It was a story.
Did you need this?
Yeah.
Like just to set up the second?
Yeah.
Y'all probably could have merged it, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was setting up the second, but I didn't even know that at the time. I was just like, what is the
Yeah.
purpose? And I didn't work on June 1 at all.
Yeah.
But I think June 1 was just like, it was very popular. Obviously the names that are involved, but then
Mhm.
also the the film of it, like the
The aesthetic. Yeah,
cinematography
it's crazy. It's
is
crazy.
insane. And like
Famous
in
book
Dune
too,
1,
right?
yeah, of
Yeah.
course. So I think the second one definitely
Okay.
is great. They're also coming out with a show that I'm going to be working on. It's
Oh,
called
really?
Dune Prophecy.
Wow.
So it's
Okay.
basically like the Bene Gesserits and all
Yeah.
that before Paul.
Prequel vibes.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Kind of set that up too. Got you.
Yeah. What else did I work on? I feel like I'm drawing a blank, but like Aquaman.
Okay.
It's like now that I'm in social media, it's just
Yeah.
like everything now. Whereas
Okay.
before it was more like focused. Like if I'm working on something, I'm working on it for like weeks, months.
Okay. Yeah.
And now it's like
Just
maybe
like
a
this.
month. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like social is so quick. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
10, 20-second clips.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll do some YouTube longer form stuff, but
Okay.
now it's just like it's just everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you. And just back to Between the World and Me real quick. So I
Mhm.
read the book. Absolutely love the book. One of my favorites,
Yeah.
especially the timing when it came out, post all the
Mhm.
police brutality stuff. What is the documentary version of it cover? Because I actually haven't watched it, and I'm gonna need to.
Okay, I haven't watched it in a while
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
This is a while ago, but he's actually narrating throughout some of the documentary, which
Mm-hmm.
I thought was cool. So like you can find some quotes from the book in
Oh,
it.
okay. Got you.
But it just covers like his life mainly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it does cover the police brutality. It does cover his time in college,
Mm-hmm.
raising his son, and that's really like the main
It's the son. Yeah.
is his son.
Yeah.
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 So that's really it's like a love story to him. And I
Yeah.
think that's why first it got nominated for a Clio, but then it also won the Clio because I was kind of told to come up with just a marketing clip, but
Mhm.
they were like, you know, we have these, and they kind of showed me what they have so far. And basically, when it comes to like TV spots, you kind of just have to the team just has to make a bunch, and then it goes up to the higher ups, and then they choose like 2 out of them. So
Mhm.
that's what happened with mine. And
Okay.
I think what made mine stand out is that I focused on like the love part of it, whereas like
Okay.
the other ones were more focused on like the documentary
Yeah.
side, his life, and da da da. And I was like, well, it's really about like the love for his son, and so
Yeah.
I feel like I focused on the familial love aspect
Yeah.
of it, and that's what made it go far. I think,
Fire.
yeah, because I feel like you got to tap into the
Yeah, for
emotion.
sure. And
Yeah,
it humanizes someone like that as well. When you
of
get to
course.
this, like, and everybody's got family, so that
Yeah,
allows people to connect to maybe wouldn't even agree with some of his political statements as
exactly.
well.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Okay, so in the roles that you have, what's a little bit of the difference between the two? And then also, what would be some advice or skill sets for people who would like to get those roles for both of
Yeah.
them?
So the difference between the two, I think the main thing that stands out is the length of the clips that I'm editing.
Yeah.
And I'm
Because you're
gonna
still editing.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm still editing, still producing. Like producing is different in marketing
Yeah.
HBO. Like it's not like you're out there producing a
Mhm.
show, producing. So it's kind of different. Like we're typically editors are producers and it's just
Okay.
merged into one. Whereas
Yeah,
like
yeah.
other places, agencies and they kind of like separate them.
Yeah.
But so it's pretty much the same stuff. The difference is just like the amount of shows that I'm working on. So as before, like I said, it's more like you're focused on this one campaign
Mhm.
for a few months, and then you
Yeah.
move on to the next campaign for a few months, and you move on
Okay.
to the next one. Whereas now, you still focus on campaigns. However, you still have like movies coming in, you have shows
Yeah.
coming in. It's like clip this, clip that, clip
Yeah,
this,
yeah, yeah.
and I feel like it's kind of I don't know. There's pros and cons to
Yeah.
both. I feel like the pro, I guess, is that I don't have to spend so much time on one thing, and like
Yeah.
I don't get as much notes on one thing.
Mhm.
Whereas before, I guess like a con would be, or the pro for the other the
Mhm.
first one would be just that I know the material so well. Like we read the scripts for it.
Mhm.
We were part of those early meetings, so we get an understanding of like what the showrunners want to see.
Right, right.
And then, you know, you're watching the clip. Oh, The Last of Us is another one. I don't know why
I was
I
gonna
drew
say,
a
I
blank
was
on
like, I'm pretty sure it was on there, but I'm gonna let you bring it
yeah,
up.
yeah,
That
yeah.
show
I
was
forgot. Like,
crazy.
I don't know. I feel like, you know, when you go through a lot
Nah,
and
I
your
do
brain
know.
just kind of like
Yes.
puts it to the side, and
Facts.
that was insane. When I
It
tell you
has to. That show
that
blew
that
off.
show
Like,
was insane to work on,
yeah.
like in the best ways.
Yeah, yeah.
But it made me a better editor for sure,
Mm-hmm.
just because of the intensity. Like, you know, as a creator, you want to work in like calm vibes, calm
Yeah.
settings. HBO is very calm. Like, I always tell people, like, when you walk into the office building,
Yeah.
you see people who are like from CNN or
Yeah.
Discovery, or like Wells Fargo is next door, like in our building, but just
Yeah.
next door. And they're like suits and ties. And
Yeah.
then like everybody in HBO is literally dressed like you.
Yeah,
And
chilling.
they're just chilling, jeans,
Yeah.
like sweaters, whatever the case is. Because
Yeah.
like you, as a creator, you want to be just in a very calm space,
Facts,
very
for
calm
sure.
setting, to produce. But this was like intense. This was like,
Yeah.
no, you don't get that. Sorry.
Yeah, damn.
It was just, I think it's also because like this is the first season and everybody loves the video game so much.
Mm-hmm.
And the showrunner, Craig Mason.
Yeah.
He was very like particular, but
Mhm.
because he knew his stuff and he wanted it how he wanted it, and he's
Yeah.
just insane. Neil too, like the creator of the video
Yeah.
game, like they're really talented, I'll
Yeah,
say. Like they're
for
really
sure.
talented.
Mhm.
But it was intense. It was like we had so many assets, obviously. But then
Yeah.
not only that, it was such an interesting show. Like again, talking about music, we didn't know like we didn't know what music to use, to be honest. Because
Yeah.
usually it's like it fits into a genre. But
Yeah.
this genre was like kind of country, but like no, like my manager literally was like, okay, kind of country, but like rock a little bit, but like no guitar. Like I don't want to hear strings. And we were like, okay. Like
Yeah.
it was just like rounds and rounds of like notes. No, I don't like this. Yes, I
Yeah.
like this. And like I worked on like episodics recaps for it.
Yeah.
That was the main thing that I was doing. And then like we call them inside the episodes. So it's
Yeah, I've
like
seen those. Yeah.
yeah, so I did the one for the Bill and Frank episode. So I did the
That's
inside
the
episode of that
gay
one.
one.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So
That
it
was beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was. And I have my own thoughts.
Okay,
But
okay, yeah.
because I just feel like, and I guess I could talk about it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just didn't like the fact that, especially during that time, every time that we saw a Black character on there, it was brutal. Like first episode, I
Okay.
don't want to spoil for anybody who
Yeah, it was a
didn't
little Black
see it.
girl, right?
Yeah, and I was
High
just like,
schooler?
first of all, I was like,
Yeah.
why is she Black? We didn't need
Yeah.
that. I was like, don't put us in there just to like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah, and then and as police brutality, you know what I mean? Like she literally got shot
Yeah.
down by a police officer, whatever he was.
Yep.
And then the
little Black boy.
Oh my
That
gosh.
was the
I
saddest shit
literally,
ever.
and the thing with like editing, I wish I was like getting more numb to it as I was watching it, but
Yeah.
it was just like so sad. Like,
Yeah.
and the thing is, you can't just like watch it once or like close your eyes. Like I'm literally editing it, so I had
Yeah.
to look at it and like break it down.
Yeah.
And I just
And it
like,
had the older brother who did it, right? Like, yeah.
it
that's too
was
much.
just like too much. And
Yeah.
I feel like their argument was like, oh, they brought it down from like the video game and da da da.
Yeah.
So they wanted to stay as much of the story as possible. But I was like,
Mhm.
but you didn't do that for Bill and Frank. You made this beautiful story
Yeah.
for them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, facts.
how does that happen? And it was a beautiful story. It was a
Yeah, yeah.
nice like smack in the middle, well, kind of like I think it was like episode 3.
Yeah.
But like all this violence is happening, and I was like, oh,
And it just,
and then violence again.
yeah.
But I was just like, why does that keep happening?
Yeah.
Like I'd rather us just not be in there. Like
Yeah.
just have your own show.
Was, there was an older Black woman too.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
her at
remember.
the end, yeah.
Was that his girl? I'm trying to remember now. Back to the show.
No, that wasn't his girl.
What was her relation?
She was like the
Oh
woman
no, she was like a soldier
Yeah.
with them. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
But she was in
yeah.
the crew, like.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Getting to
And then
the
obviously at the end she like
Yeah.
you know, everybody dies, I feel like.
Yeah.
But it's just
One of
the
those-
way. Like,
yeah,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? It's just the way. It was just brutal to watch,
Mhm.
especially during that time. And so I had to like speak out about it one time
Oh,
because
for
we were doing
real?
because
Wow.
I think we were doing recaps.
Props to
didn't
you
have-
for doing that, for real.
No, because you have to, because
Yeah.
I was like one of 3 Black people on my team, which is like good. Like HBO is kind of known for not being the worst corporate environment ever.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
but that was just like my team. They were like, oh, you got really lucky, because like the rest of it is very much not like that.
He's white, yeah.
But I feel like you have to have us in those spaces because people are
Mhm.
not thinking about that. So like, and obviously like people are probably thinking like, oh, the show's already made. There's nothing that we can do about it. But it's just the reminders, I feel like, because I wasn't on that recap, but somebody else had it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like watching them, and I had reached out to somebody who's like right under my manager, and I was just, because he was running like the recaps.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't feel like this is necessary for us to see again after we just saw it, because they had like started the recap with like the brother killing the brother, and I was just like, we don't really need that. Like, we don't need the constant like trauma and the reminders of trauma. Like we saw it already. We literally just saw it.
Yeah.
And it's not like before where it's like, you're watching it on TV and then it comes out a week later. Like people who are binging, like
Yeah.
we literally just saw it.
I actually
So
just saw it.
I
Yes,
actually
facts.
just saw it. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really not necessary.
Run it back.
But like stuff like that
Yeah.
is important because yeah, I just know how I felt when I first saw it.
Yeah.
And if I had to like watch it again after
Yeah,
everything,
yeah.
like, you know.
Nah, for sure.
But that show was insane. It
Yeah.
definitely made me a better editor. It was so fun, very fun. It was a long time. That's another instance where I feel
Yeah.
like we were on that show for a really long time.
Mhm.
A couple of other stuff kind of beforehand, but usually like when we're working on a show in the first like department,
Mhm.
it's more like, okay, you're working on this show, this is your focus, but like
Yeah.
some other stuff might come in. When it was The Last of Us, everybody's plates was like, it was like,
Yeah.
we're working on, like our whole team is working on this
Yeah.
and this only, like everything else like goes to other teams.
Yeah.
Everybody's working on The Last of Us. That was
Fire.
yeah, that was insane. But it turned out
It
amazing.
worked.
Yeah,
The reception was
Turned out
crazy.
amazing.
Everyone loves Pedro Pascal, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
everybody.
Y'all went crazy with that.
Yeah.
The casting was great. The little
Yeah.
girl who was in Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah,
She
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
amazing. Like, I mean, y'all did it.
Yeah.
And to live up to that hype is crazy. It is
know.
very hard for shows to live up to the hype
They
nowadays.
did
And
a great
it
job.
blew it out the water.
honestly. Yeah,
Yeah.
they did a great job. And I think people were like, oh, I don't like her for this role. He doesn't look like this.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, get over it.
Y'all
Like,
dragging it.
you want
Yeah,
people to look
facts.
exactly the same and then their acting isn't good.
Yeah,
like, you know,
come on, yeah.
like I feel like it was like Pedro Pascal. I didn't feel like he was Pedro Pascal in it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
he did a great job. People had comments about that too, like, oh, is he the right person for this? Like,
Clearly,
could have
he
found a
is.
more, but he was great. Yeah,
What were they? More what were they looking for?
rough. I think like somebody
He
more
was
rough.
pretty
Somebody
rough.
was like, honestly speaking,
He was just
like,
a
white.
Narcos too. Yeah, I was
Like
gonna say
yeah,
white, yeah.
like he, like yeah. That's honestly what it was.
That's so
That's what they
funny.
wanted.
Yeah.
And I understand it. Like I had no idea about the video game. Like I'm not gonna lie. I had
Really?
no, yeah.
I knew about it, but I never played it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never knew about it. And then we were in it, and it was kind of like, oh my gosh, this is kind of a lot. Like
Because they
people are
want to
really,
make those fans happy.
yeah. And I
Mhm.
think they did. I think they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reaction videos were insane. Like somebody made
I can
a video.
imagine. Y'all be
like,
paying attention
all
to
the-
that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That shit gotta be funny.
Yeah, somebody made like a compilation of the reaction videos, and it was
Yeah.
I was like, wow, like this is insane. Yeah, would you pay attention to it? Sometimes I actually like have them. Like we're like, okay, we're gonna
Like put them on?
yeah,
Oh, fire.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, Last of Us was great.
That's fire. That's fire. And then in terms of like skill sets for
Oh,
both
yeah.
your former job and your new job, what do you think people should be looking out for if they're interested in everything that you've been talking about?
I feel like the job that I have is very much hard skills. Like
Okay.
a couple of soft skills too.
Yeah.
But they're very much hard skills. Like I'd
Mhm.
say at a beginner's level, maybe you don't need to know how to edit, but I'd say like before trying to start a job,
Mhm.
for starting an internship, like you're fine, like you'll figure it out kind of thing, because I did.
Yeah.
But if you're starting, like if you want to start a job, because I had somebody reach out to me that was like, oh, I'm thinking of like getting some hard skills under my belt.
Mhm.
I definitely would say just like pick up anything and like just edit. Like I feel like you can
Mhm.
edit on anything. CapCut, like anything
I was just
free.
about to say I use CapCut.
Love
Yeah, yeah.
CapCut.
Yeah.
So yeah, just do that. I work with Premiere and like Avid.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So Premiere is great. Like I was working on Avid, so the difference again.
Mhm.
Avid was the first department, so the Avid was like, it's very, I think it's old,
Okay.
but we use Avid. Nobody else in the industry uses Avid.
Oh, really?
Like
I actually hadn't
literally
heard about it.
nobody
Yeah.
else. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really old, but I think because we have so much material, it's the best for us, and it's
Okay.
good. It's good. It's just like it just feels older. Like it feels
Yeah.
like, you know.
The UI and everything just kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's old. And it's just not as user friendly as
Mhm.
Premiere. But when I changed departments and I'm like working on like the little social stuff, it's way easier to use
Mhm.
Premiere. I feel like Avid is necessary for longer form Premiere. So I feel like if
Mhm.
you want to start out, just like start out editing anywhere, and then wherever
Mhm.
you go, they're gonna teach you how to do it.
Mhm.
But pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
But definitely like Premiere is a skill set. Avid is a skill set. Honestly, funny enough, like docs, like you know, like Google Docs or like
Oh, yeah, yeah,
spreadsheets.
yeah.
Like we use a lot of spreadsheets a lot to
Yeah.
keep track of like all of the assets. So I
Mhm.
feel like that skill set is a lot more now than before, because like
Mhm.
there's so much more assets. And we
Mhm.
definitely use spreadsheets. What other skills?
Yep.
Writing.
Okay.
Writing was more the first one.
Okay.
So like writing scripts for like when I was just a producer in my internship, like I had to like write a script for an editor. So that's
Okay.
basically like, okay, this character is gonna say this, and then you're gonna
Mm.
have like cut to black, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna have this music.
Really
And then,
laying the whole thing
yeah,
out, the
laying it
overview.
out,
Yeah,
laying
yeah,
it
yeah.
out. So I
Gotcha.
feel like that's a huge skill set, which took me very like I was just told by my manager that was like my main strength.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know they tell you like where you need to improve on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
where you're just naturally talented at,
Mhm.
and that it just happened to be writing for me.
Mhm.
Writing sounds like I feel like it sounds like I'm an editor at
Yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah,
magazine or
yeah,
something, but
yeah,
no,
yeah.
like not that type of
Yeah,
writing.
yeah. But like
Just like
literally writing it out.
scripts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I
Just
got
writing
you.
it out. Producing. Gosh, there's so many skills. Like you'd be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Editing
makes sense, yeah.
sound. You know what
Okay.
I mean? Like editing sound. Which is like I feel like more important for the first one than the second one.
Yeah.
Now for the second one, it's more like just being in the know. I feel like more than
Yeah.
anything, like being in the know, what's trending,
Mhm.
the sounds that are trending, or like the editing styles that are trending.
Yeah.
Like, is a lot of fast cuts going on right now?
Okay.
Is it not?
Gotcha.
Is it like behind the scenes, like that type of stuff? Before like there's like I mean, you know how you have your tracks, like video tracks, audio tracks. Like I've worked on stuff that had like 30 plus audio tracks, like just crazy. Like now my audio tracks is like 2.
Yeah, fire.
So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I love it, but like before it's like sound effects and
You adding
music.
those in and everything?
Yeah. So it's a
That's
lot. Like
such-
that's the majority of the time.
I can
feel.
imagine.
Yeah.
That's everything. And like there's just so many options.
Yeah, there's so many options. It's insane. I mean, thankfully, like we're so collaborative there
Yeah.
at HBO on both of my teams.
Mhm.
The old one and the new one. The old one was just like I had so many people to look up to, and so many people ask things. Like
Fire.
they're really good with that. So I was asking like all the questions in the world.
Yeah, as you should.
And they have like they have like libraries, like their own little libraries of like sound effects that they like.
Yeah.
So I would like steal from them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And then comedy is like so different, like stuff for like a Black Lady sketch show, or I was working on
Oh, facts. Yeah, that's
yeah, I was
certainly
working on
not
rap
Last of
shit
Us.
too.
Okay,
Rap shit, I
shout
loved
out
rap shit.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P.
You know what I'm saying?
I
had a good
loved
run.
that show though.
That shit
It
was
was
funny.
so
I saw season 1.
fun.
Yeah.
I loved working on it. I did a
Yeah.
recap, some other stuff. But that was like the sound effects for like comedy is so different.
Yeah.
Like, lighter, but like punchy, yeah, but I was working on all of that, like all of those audio tracks.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's just, it takes so long.
I can
though.
imagine.
Like, it takes so long.
Because even just doing some social clips, like for clipping up the podcast, whatever,
Yeah.
I got my few tracks, whatever. I can't imagine an actual thing for HBO. It must just.
No, yeah, but that's
Line
why
after
you need
line.
like a software that's gonna handle
Oh,
it. Like, you know what I
facts.
mean? Premiere would just be like, I'm done.
Yeah, seriously?
Yeah, no,
Damn.
yeah. I've had so many times where I had to like restart Premiere. I'm like, are you same thing with Avid though? But
Yeah.
Premiere is just like, grow up.
Really? I didn't know that. So
Like-
I don't think CapCut can handle that either. I assume not, being like a
no,
free
I don't even
tool.
think it does. Like,
It probably
mean,
has a limit, yeah.
yeah, I don't know how many layers CapCut can do,
Yeah.
but probably has a limit for it.
Yeah, it's not like a
Yeah.
professional software per se.
But I mean, it turns
No,
out looking the same.
for sure. And
I
for
love their
content
like
creators,
text
it's
and
amazing.
stuff. Like their
Yeah,
text is
yeah.
cute. We don't use text a lot.
Okay, yeah.
But because like as a editor, like you'll edit your thing and then you'll send it to like a graphic designer, and they'll
do the cute
yeah,
shit. Yeah.
exactly.
Got you.
So they'll do like the titles and
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
I just started using CapCut. I was using. Have you heard of Cap Wing before?
No.
Shit is the worst,
Oh my
bro.
gosh.
Yeah. So shout out my boy Sebastian from Fireside Podcast. So I didn't used to edit any of our, because we have 4 of us. So I would do different things. Like I would always do like, the topic tracker for what we're gonna cover on the day, kind of like be the host, pass us around in terms of the topics, really guide the show. And then also we have so much business on the back end, connection with people, et cetera, et cetera. But I didn't really get into like editing clips itself until probably summer 2023, and we started in fall 2022. And he uses an online like SaaS, solution as a software as a solution. It's called Capwing, which is good for captioning because it'll do like the auto subtitling.
Okay.
And then you can edit all types of shit for that. But in terms of like actually cutting the clip, it has so many little issues.
Really?
Especially like when there's a camera switching and you don't want like the glitch between here to here.
Oh yeah.
You like cut it out, but then when you export it, the glitch is still there.
Oh.
And so it's just mad annoying. But Kendrick, who also edits on our podcast, he uses CapCut. And then finally, like 3-4 weeks, I was like, bro, just use CapCut. And I started using CapCut. So much better.
Yeah.
And now for this show too, I use CapCut just to add in like the title and whatnot. So
yeah,
yeah,
I think it's like sometimes I feel like it's unnecessary to like pay for something like Adobe.
yeah,
Like, because CapCut is so good, but I feel like once you start like doing, I also feel like you're paying for just the ease of it, if that
Yeah,
makes sense. Like
for sure.
sometimes like I'll be editing like YouTube videos and stuff in CapCut and I'm just like, ugh, like I kind of wish I was in Premiere just because
Yeah,
like why is this taking so long?
yeah, facts.
So but just for like short stuff where
Mhm.
even long things, but like stuff that you're not editing a lot, like
Yeah,
not a lot of editing, I mean.
yeah,
It
yeah,
could be like a long video, but
yeah,
like
yeah.
not like a lot of editing involved, and I feel like CapCut is fine.
Yeah, which is what this is, at least for the
Yeah.
YouTube version, because I'm not gonna cut anything in the middle really. So
Yeah.
title, outro graphic, that's really it,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
Is Premiere online though, or is it on your desktop?
No, it's on my desktop. I don't know if they have
Okay.
an online version.
See,
I
that's
don't
my
think so.
problem is storage.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
like this shit comes back super 8K, whatever the hell it is, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But it's like 40 gig. So I'm like transferring this
Yeah.
thing to the hard drive,
Yeah.
and then removing this episode so this fills up because I can only have
Yeah.
like one thing at a time on the actual
I
laptop.
know.
And it's just like, bro, that's the only problem for it.
Storage is like the biggest thing.
Yeah,
Period. Like pictures, videos, everything. Like
for
I
sure.
have an external hard drive, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just annoying.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then skills for the new job. Anything different
Skills
that you
for the
want to
new
shout out?
job. I feel like everything that I did in the old one just kind of lent itself for the new one. So now I
Gotcha.
feel like the only thing new introduced was like time management. I feel like which that was not really introduced. Like I already had that before, but like really now because everything is so quick. And then also just like trying my best to be on top of the trends because
Okay.
I'm very much not like I very
Yeah.
much do not follow. Like sometimes I like hear some stories and stuff, but like in the group chat they'll talk about stuff and I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's not very demure of you.
Is
No.
that no, you see how I'm sitting
Yeah,
here,
that's it, right.
like hands crossed, very demure, very mindful.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, okay.
So I know that
you got that one. Yeah,
but yeah, new skill sets. Brainstorm a lot.
okay.
Brainstormed before, like everything that I did before I do now, but some of it is just like more, like
Yeah.
a lot of brainstorming because there's a lot more pieces.
Yeah.
And then also like interviewing, like I've done
Wow.
like those outside of like editing stuff that's like not part of my job, but I
Yeah.
do it because it's fun and like
Cool.
I want to expand on that one day. Is like interviewing
Okay.
and also like setting up a set. Like we just had a set for industry where we did like a talent shoot but yeah, so it was just like we had to like make something out of nothing and it turned out so good just because like at HBO like we have there's so many floors, but then we can like hit up anybody and ask them for stuff. So like we were asking like this floor, that floor, do you have stuff? And everybody's like, yeah, you can have this, you can have that.
Bye.
So it turned out so cool, but that's not like part of my job as an editor, but just like in this job that I have now, like in this department, I feel like definitely learning how to do interviews, how to brainstorm, how to think about questions to ask, and like setting up sets, I guess, because now we do that.
Facts.
Yeah, I just feel like, and then also you have to like really think on your feet because like if there's an issue and it's like quick turnaround time, you have to just be be quick with it because like what are you gonna do?
For sure.
Like I just had an issue yesterday, which is why I was like, oh my gosh, work is so busy.
No, I feel you.
Because like I could not, like there's like so many BTS, like so much BTS footage and I could not export it. And I was like, somebody has to help me with this because like it's taking forever to export and I had to like chop it up into like hour, like because it was a time lapse of like Colin Farrell turning into the penguin.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to edit this, but I have to get it into a software that I can edit. I could do Avid, I could do Premiere, whatever. I had to just get it out.
Yeah.
And it like I almost like froze the whole thing because obviously everybody's working and like my department has a wellness week right now for those who got to do that. I don't, but they have a wellness week right now and I think it's great. So like nobody's working, thankfully, because if everybody was working, then I would have shut down the whole
everybody
thing. Yeah, I know. They would have been like,
the whole grid off.
Yeah, I know. Because it was like 11 hours of him, like, it was 11 hours of footage.
Bro, my Mac would have set on fire.
Yeah, I know.
Ain't no way.
I know. So yeah, I ended up just like cutting it up into like
pieces.
A bunch of pieces, which is annoying, but
just
like working around stuff and then also communicating. Like communication is so big. Networking is so big, even within your own like company, because if you ever have a problem, you have to ask somebody, you have to just be nice to everybody because like you're gonna need them at some point. Like
type shit.
You know?
For sure. And then before we move away from the specific job that you've held at HBO, any really cool story that stands out in terms of your experience thus far? Is it a red carpet moment? Is it somebody you've interviewed? Anything like that you want to shout out?
There's so many cool moments,
Yeah,
honestly.
clearly, I mean, shit, like, yo.
There honestly are. Oh my gosh. Jesse Williams.
Okay.
I got to interview him.
Fire.
That was fun. He's so cool. Everybody that I met has been
cool.
like pretty like laid back, pretty chill.
Mm-hmm.
I know that that's not always the case. Like I'm not. I don't want to say thankfully because I'm sure one day I will be, but like I haven't had to like be on set capturing any BTS while they're like filming episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been a lot less intense and a lot less stressful because when you're in those situations, like I've heard stories where it's like this guy told, like I won't name names, but like this guy told me that I couldn't look in his eye, like I couldn't look at him. Like
He said that to you?
No, like
someone had it. Okay,
yeah.
I was gonna
and
say.
my coworker was telling me what I was like, huh? Like I couldn't imagine somebody feeling that big to the point where, because you're supposed to be like when you're on there capturing BTS, they know you're from HBO. Like you're not paparazzi. That's the other thing. Like they know you're from HBO.
We're promoting your show, bro, or a movie. Yeah, like.
But you just kind of have to be like if that was the camera, to like be behind the cameraman and like try to like capture the stuff, but like not be in their eyes view. Like that's like the person got so mad because they were in their eye view. When they were like doing their
fuck out of here, like,
I'm confused. There's like hundreds of like crew here.
There's mad shit going on.
Yeah, why are you worried about it? Do your job. But thankfully, I haven't had any issues like that.
Yeah.
Yet. Yeah. But talent, like working with talent, is another skill set. Like I feel like is heavy in this department. Because you just have to like cater to their every need.
Mm-hmm.
Any cool moments? Like I went to the Westworld premiere, like their last season.
Great show.
Yeah, great show. It was so cool, and I actually didn't have to work that one, so I got to just kind of like enjoy
vibe out.
it.
Yeah,
and that was like really cool.
Yeah.
And I guess traveling for it. Like, I mean, I'm going to Cali in 2 days. That's fun. I tried to get a first class ticket, but they were like, no.
Damn.
I was like, whatever. Get your budget out.
Yeah.
What else? So many fun opportunities.
Yeah.
Like The Last of Us. Any person that I've like interviewed. I don't know. For some reason, like I think this is a good thing because of like the job that I'm in now and the fact that I'm interviewing, but I don't really get like starstruck or anything. I'm just like, oh, cool. Like, it's a person. If Ronaldo was sitting here, that's a whole nother scenario. I might not even be able to ask him a question. Like, I'll just be like, oh my gosh, what?
Yeah, 900 goals. That's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, I think I saw like Pirlo play like in person one time.
Yeah.
Like, when he was here.
Yeah.
And I was just like crying after. And I was Pirlo, and I wasn't even like that huge of like I guess like like early teens.
Okay.
And I was like, why am I like this? But like I don't know. I guess I kind of like grew out of that because there's nobody that I really like
to that level.
Yeah,
I feel you.
But they're just like I just like the fact that they're really cool people. That's pretty much it. But like I like the experiences that I've got to have, like going on carpets and things like that. Yeah,
that's fire. Nah, it was funny because speaking of celebrities, I was at a fashion week party yesterday and Taraji P. Henson was just there.
Oh,
I was like, okay, that's Taraji.
So cool. Yeah, look at you.
It's whatever. It's whatever. It's whatever. But I feel like I'm at that stage too. Like not too many people starstruck me.
Yeah.
But she's a legend too, and I was like, oh, it's cool. But I kind of keep it pushing. But Ronaldo, I need a photo, a video, or something. I gotta talk to you. There's no way.
Yeah,
Ronaldo,
no way. I would be like. I actually don't know how I'd be like.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know.
I would think he's like fake. Like,
I'd probably freeze live it. You know what I'm
like,
saying? Most famous person in the world right now. I think
probably
he's the most followed on Instagram.
Yeah, he's been that for like so long.
He broke the YouTube record. He got like 50. I think it's probably like 70 million subscribers now.
Did you?
And he got like 50 in like a day. 50 million.
Yeah, I saw that. Did you know that? Like, well, I don't know if this is true, but allegedly, like he can't have a YouTube channel. Apparently,
he has one.
He has one.
I just said that. Yeah.
I thought he was just like had a video and he
no, he has a channel.
Yeah, he's been had a channel?
No, he just started it and he got like 70 million subscribers in like 2 days and broke every YouTube record.
Oh my god, you're talking about views. Oh my gosh.
No, subscribers.
That's crazy. Because let's
do a live check
before this.
Yeah.
That
I'm gonna do a live check. But
I'm listening. One.
Yeah.
They were like, YouTube doesn't want him to have a channel because of like how much money he would make, basically. Okay. And that's why for so long he didn't have one.
58 million subscribers.
That's insane.
And it's the fastest ever. He started 2 weeks ago. And he broke every Mr. Beast record ever too. who's
Oh wow.
who has the craziest channel ever. This dude is investing 20 million in a video, having curing blindness and all types of shit. The
Right.
Squid Games, Ronaldo 50 mil. Snap, crazy. Never seen anything like it.
No what?
Yeah.
He needs to give me some.
Bro, please, $5, give me like just a few of those subscribers. You don't
Yeah,
need
just like
58 million.
1,000,
Yeah, just,
like,
I'll take
that's
two.
it.
Yeah, I'll take
Yeah, right.
200 right now. For sure. But moving on to a more kind of like general topic.
Mhm.
You're somebody who works in film and TV. You're in the streaming industry. You've seen how much streaming has grown, how it's even
Mhm.
connected to how movies are getting dropped, like Dune. What's kind of like your overall feeling and view of the film and TV industry right now, and just like where the state of that culture is at?
Honestly, I think that the film companies just really have to adjust. Like that's my main thing. I feel
Mhm.
like HBO has to just adjust to the current climate. Social media is just the way. Like I feel like no filming company is going to last if they don't adjust to like this world. So I feel like
Yep.
Netflix does a great job. HBO is doing a great
The
job.
best. Yeah.
Like, I just feel like it's hard when you have like smaller companies and they just are not doing it. I've seen like
Mhm.
like Prime Video on social media. Like I think they have The Summer I Turned Pretty. Like their social media for The Summer I Turned Pretty is like insane. Like they get
Yeah.
so much engagement.
Yeah.
But it's like constantly changing. Like social media is constantly changing.
Yeah.
And
Facts.
I feel like whenever I talk about like film and TV, I have to mention social media because that's just the main way of marketing now.
For
And
everything. Yeah.
for those people that are getting left behind, they're just gonna get left behind. Like you know what I mean? You have to just always adjust as a company.
100%.
But film and TV now, honestly, I've like shied away from TV, like as I feel like everybody
Yeah.
else. Like I don't watch TV that much anymore.
Okay.
I think everybody's just obviously on the apps. Like I think
Yeah.
that's the new way that everybody's watching television.
Mhm.
Can we even call it television anymore? Like I
I
don't
guess
know.
it is a television,
I know
but you know what I'm saying? We're not watching
sometimes
cable.
laptops,
That's
sometimes
very true.
phones.
Definitely. Shout out that to be saving lives sometimes.
Right. Right.
Very clutch. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Got you. Before we get out of here, though, we got to talk a little bit of music. I know you are a
Okay,
big
cool.
music fan. So part of Vino Vriday, why I started the event series, is because I'm a big fan of new age R&B.
okay.
And I always felt like when I go outside, you hear Usher, Keisha Cole, the same kind of old vibes. And we love our legends, but I also equally like, or like even more, just the more modern stuff. You know, Bryson, Summer Walker, Brent Fires, whatever it is. So in terms of like new age R&B, any artists that you really like or would like to shout
I
out?
love Black.
Black's amazing. I saw him
I
in
love
concert. He's
Black.
an
Did
incredible
you?
artist.
I
And
wanted
he's an
to
amazing
see him.
writer too. His
Yeah,
pen is
no,
crazy.
I know.
Because he used to be a battle rapper.
Oh, really?
So he has
I
like
didn't
the
know that.
yeah. So he has like the lyricism of like a lyrical rapper, but then
Yeah.
turns it into R&B, which is why his
Yeah.
pen is so crazy.
Yeah, like he's just the best, I think, at that. Like that's just my favorite person
Yeah.
at like that mix between like rap and R&B. Like
Yeah, the in
right
between.
now, like I just really love and appreciate like his music. Definitely makes me feel something for sure. And I feel like that kind of comes from like J. Cole. Like I love J. Cole.
Yeah.
And I feel like
shout out Cole.
I feel like sometimes like when you're paired, like when you have like a favorite rapper, that kind of like pairs with like
and
the
they
rest
got
of your
Pretty Little
favorite
Fears
thing.
together. Yeah.
Love Pretty
What
Little
a
Fears.
song.
Oh my gosh.
I'll never forget when that dropped
I
2018.
love
East Atlanta
Pretty
Love
Little
Letter album
Fears.
for sure.
Oh my gosh, East Atlanta Love Letter. Ugh.
Incredible album.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Fire. And then I know you have some interests and some entrepreneurial work you do outside of your full-time job. If you want to shout any of that out.
Yeah. So Nayo's Essence, NAYOSESSENCE.
Talk about it.
It's just my middle name.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then Essence. But yeah, so I do skincare, body butters, sugar scrubs, oils, those types of stuff. I've started that in 2020, and then I've just been doing like pop-up shops and festivals and stuff and selling online.
Fire.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Now, congrats on
Thank
that.
you.
Before we get out of here, I do have to give a shout out to Vino Vriday Volume 6. You know what I'm saying? Coming out at Red Pavilion in Brooklyn. It is a late night edition. So this one will be 11 to 3:30 a.m.
It's a good
I actually think that's the location I
yeah,
met you.
Yeah,
That's so
as I
crazy.
said,
Full
it's a good
circle
location,
moment.
right?
For sure. So we got sounds by Cuddy, Mahogany, Honeycut, and Chameleon on the ones and twos, spinning all types of music. Gonna have some new age R&B, West Coast, Afrobeat, and much more as well. It is both a social event and a party, so come through, meet someone new, network a little bit, but absolutely be sure to turn up. Tickets are on Posh and free drinks for the first 50 guests as well. It's
Be
gonna
on
be a good
time.
time. Yeah, be on time. It's late night, but still be on time. Biggest venue yet, so I'm very excited for the growth of it and very excited to have it happen. Yeah, hope to see you there.
Congratulations on it.
I
That's a
appreciate
great
it, yo. You've been
venue.
supporting, so I appreciate that big
Of
time.
course.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, this was a very special Vino Conversations episode 7. You know what I'm saying? Our lucky number.
It's a
So
good one.
appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming through.
Woo, thank you for having me.
Of course. Peace.
Bye.